Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my family's going to a tailgate and I want our style to stand out from the crowd.
Just go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, Old Navy's got all the latest fall styles. Plus, during Old Navy's colossal sale, you'll save up to 50% off store-wide.
Did you say up to 50% off?
I did, so don't sit on the sidelines. Old Navy has the perfect pants from $19, stylish dresses from $15, and comfy tees for the family from just $6 right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
We're cheering for Old Navy.
High fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10-2 to 10-10. Select styles only.
Trust me, something in the air just above me, something like a dream state. You call it a clean break. Do you feel the vibes? Do you feel the vibes?
Hey, X1X, you're now rocking with your boy K-O-R-X Kal-El, the last son of Planet Xbox, and you're listening to Super Podshots. So this is it, man. Live episode of Super Podshots. It's really special to be doing it this way because I got so much going on that I want to do for the fans, and a lot of times it's hard to do when you're doing it with Hangouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to try to get people on the show. It's difficult to try to keep up with people's questions and conversations and things like that. And I owe so much to the fan base and so much to everybody out there that I'm really glad that they, the people out there have been able to make something like this where I can interact with the community and I can talk with people and people can now talk with me back. So listen, got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to touch up on the Fortnite stuff with PUBG, a little bit of Forza, Why So Serious segment, man, about gaming, and, of course, ending the show with the X1X 4K era, my thoughts on that. So if you're listening live, when I'm ready to make calls or take calls in, you can give me a call at 347-539-5860. That's 347-539-5860. And end up on Super Podshots, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on with Xbox and the industry. So listen, Fortnite has recently announced that they just crossed the 7 million install base threshold. I'm just blown away by it. It's a free game. Clearly, I mean, the Royal Rumble aspect, there's been this big thing going on between the guys over at Bluehole and PUBG and the guys over at Epic with Fortnite. And, I've been building a stream team with my guy Dizzy. And when you go to Mixer on the Xbox, Fortnite is like the number 2 game. Surprisingly, the number 1 game is like Clash of Clans or Clash of something, some type of like small indie game. That's out there on, Windows phones or, iOSs and Android phones and stuff like that, which really would surprise me that many people were watching these games being played on Mixer. But, Fortnite is like the second highest rated game on there. And of course, PUBG is on there as well. But I was really shocked, and I think that's because it's free. And with 7 million people now playing Fortnite, it really throws a pickle in what PUBG is trying to do, because it reminds me of how you had Overwatch. All of a sudden, you got Paladins, right? But for some apparent reason, whatever the reasons were, Paladin is a solid game. It's not a bad game at all. It's a solid game. But for whatever the reason, it seems that Paladins just didn't take off the way, I guess you can say, Fortnite has. Now, when it comes to Fortnite and you're buying the actual game itself, it's not like, oh, let me pick up the game and play the game and it's become this super popular game based on initially what it was meant to be, which was kind of like a fort building, zombie type, horde type game that you play with your friends. You collect these characters. Each character has a different skill set, and each one of them helps you survive the night. But with them implementing this Royal Rumble aspect to the game, it's really thrown everything on its head. It's thrown everything on its head to a point that it just seems like PUBG is in a pickle. And this is the reason why they've been in such a rut and really been trying to fight this, I guess you could say, this developing wave of competition suddenly. And with them crossing 7 million, having a free game and it being as popular, man, it's only a matter of time before they cross the 10 million mark. And when it hits that 10 million mark, you now have to really question, do you want to go ultra realistic in a way with PUBG, which really seems very competitive, or do you want to go the free route and have fun and play with your guys and your friends on Fortnite? And I don't know if, I don't know if this Fortnite Royal Rumble, like this Rumble type gameplay, is going to last. It seems like it's become very popular amongst people when it comes to, I guess you could say, when it comes to these type of survival games, these Hunger Game type games. I had a long conversation with Anchorman about this a while ago, about all of a sudden you just see all these Hunger Game type games coming out. You throw people into an island or a pit, and you pit them against each other, and whoever wins, whoever survives at the end wins. And as you're playing the game, the dome gets smaller and smaller and smaller, pushing you and that person closer and closer together. So it's very funny that suddenly there's a mass amount of games coming out. It's a mass amount of imitation. And with PUBG being at the forefront of that, I truly hope that these guys are able to sustain the momentum that they have and they don't get taken out by a competitor that does it better, especially with Microsoft really trying to get their grips on this game and extend the exclusivity. And if you haven't heard about that, that's something that Microsoft has been doing. They've been out there trying to extend the exclusivity of the game on the Xbox One platform. They're already publishing it. They're working with Bluehole to improve the game. They've already allowed Rare to use the water, that they are using in Sea of Thieves in the Xbox version of PUBG. So, you're talking about putting proprietary content into the game, and now extending the exclusivity would be a big deal for Xbox. Obviously, the game is timed. It's going to hit PlayStation 4. My understanding is that they're already in talks with PS4 about when they're going to release it or what they're going to give them after X amount of time. But, if Microsoft can extend it to a year, maybe 2 years, I don't know what they're trying to do or how long they're going to do it. I just hope that they don't invest too much money into the game. And if they feel like it's going to be that big of a success, instead of them investing more time into exclusivity, they should just completely buy the exclusive rights of the game, period. At least for this title. I don't know if they'll ever come out with a second one or if they'll come out with like some type of sequel. But if it's like a Minecraft type game where, the games are forever evolving, you can get private servers and kind of build your own play formats and things like that. If you're able to do these things, because I haven't played it yet, I'm a console gamer. I don't play on PC, so I haven't got my hands on it yet. But if you're able to do these things, man, then I just think that, it's one of those things that you can be in a situation where if Microsoft sees the potential of this game, you got to buy this game outright. Forget the time to exclusivity. Because like Minecraft has been huge for Xbox, extremely huge for them. You're talking about recouping the $3 billion that they spent. They did that in sometime last year. I mean, they recouped that already. And that was in no time. This game is taking on a life of its own. It's on everything. It's already crossed the threshold as far as finances is concerned. It's like second or fourth all time, top 5 all time in sales. So, Microsoft has the potential to grab another thing like that. If I'm them, I do that. If I'm, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if the opportunity is there, it's just something you got to do. So we'll see what happens in the future, man. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with PUBG with Fortnite, but I'm definitely going to hop on Fortnite and see what all the buzz is about on Mixer. With the Mixer team. Hopefully in the future we'll get a few streams out there. You guys come check out the team on TICGN on the Mixer channel where the Mixer team is going to be at, and you can check us play some games and stuff. And we got a giveaway coming up on Sunday, by the way, on Mixer. So stay tuned to the end of the show for that, and I'll let you guys know how you can win a free version. So we're going to move on to the next topic, and I finally have a chime I can use when we move to the next topic. Guys, let me know if you like this chime or not. If you don't, go ahead and hit me up on Twitter. If you guys are new to the show, if you're just listening in, you can follow me on Twitter at TIC_podcast. That's at TIC_podcast. And let me know, what do you guys think of this, Sean, as we move on to the next segment of the show. Forza Motorsport 7 and the guys over at Turn 10 have been pumping out some very successful games for a very long time. This game is getting high ratings left and right. I mean, I can't stress enough about the ratings of this game. But unfortunately, lately, a lot of AAA games have been getting a lot, and I mean a lot of microtransactions in their game. And it seems to really have set a lot of people off when it comes to Forza. Forza's been one of those games that when it came to content, you can get the content outright. You didn't have to fight for the content. You didn't have to pay for the content. Everything you can get in the game. And it seems that they've gone ahead and changed the way you get that content, or at least the way that content was delivered. A lot of people were turned off by it, and it seems that the guys over at Turn 10 heard the cries. So they went ahead, they gave out some bonuses, some cars, some tracks, some funds, and my understanding is that they reversed the VIP, which was really the biggest gripe that most Forza fans had. Now, I'm not a big guy into the Forza Motorsport series. I prefer Forza Horizon series. I don't know what it is about arcade racers. I just really love arcade racers, and the guys over at Playground have done an excellent job when it comes to, the arcade racer, when it comes to Forza Horizon. But, Forza Motorsport 7, I think this might be the best Forza that they've produced in a very, very long time. It is only going to get better when the Xbox One X comes out. And I know so many people looking forward to this game. And the funny thing about it is, when I think about it, it kind of reminds me of people out there waiting to get Forza. Like, I wonder what Forza sales are right now, because I look at Shadow of War is about to come out. I look at Assassin's Creed is about to come out, and both those games are on my list to pick up. And yet I'm not going to buy those games day one. Like, I want to, but I'm not going to buy them day one. I'm probably going to wait until I get my Xbox One X to pick those games up. In the meantime, I'll probably invest my money into something else to play in between that gap. One of the games I recently picked up was Battle Crashers, but I wonder how many people are also doing the same thing. Instead of investing in the Forza Motorsport 7 version of the game now, especially now with the new update out, they're just going to wait until the Xbox One X releases, get the update for the Forza Motorsport 7 with the 4K textures and, all the improvements that they've done to the game visually, and wait for that to release instead, and then pick up the game. And I wonder if that will be a detriment to Forza. How many people are actually playing Forza right now is something that I would like to know. Obviously, we may not get those numbers because Microsoft isn't giving numbers the way they used to. But it really would be cool if they were able to show off some of these things when it comes to what they're doing successfully. We know Forza Horizon 3 did an amazing job. I heard great things about Cuphead, and I've been hearing great things about Forza, but with the VIP fiasco, the microtransaction thing, it's kind of really put a bad taste in some people's mouth. Now, a lot of fans have been, I won't say fans, let me not say fans, because most Forza fans don't care. You know what I'm saying? At least a good amount of the hardcore guys don't care. And that's because, if you can get the stuff in the game, you're going to continue to play the game to get the stuff in the game. I think a lot of times microtransactions get blown out of proportion because they're in the game and they're visible and people can see, oh my God, why would I pay X amount of money for this DLC or this crap or to get this gun and things like that when it's in the game. Now, some things are a grind to get. Some people just pay for stuff outright and get it immediately. One of the things that I heard was in Star Wars Battlefront, there was an issue like that where it's a grind to get all these pieces for a particular weapon. Meanwhile, you can easily go pick up the game via DLC for a few bucks. And that kind of sucks because that's like a pay to win, especially if you're playing multiplayer and you're going against people and you're constantly getting wrecked because you're stuck with a stock gun that you've had for like the last, month. And somebody immediately on day one went out and bought DLC content and they got an upgraded version of the gun that's taking you forever to get, and you're getting it piece by piece. That's horrible. I would hate to be in that situation. But at the same time, can you really complain if it's not forced upon you? Like, people want these games, like they want the reviews for Forza to reflect the microtransactions. And I think that's just a skewed view of trying to force reviewers to review the game based on microtransactions in the game if you don't like what's being presented as microtransactions. I don't get that part. Normally when you review a game, you're talking about what the game looks like, how the game plays, what's the sound like, is there a story mode, how in-depth is the game, how does it make you feel? There's a million things that determine what is special about the game, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Microtransactions, in my opinion, should not be on that list. It shouldn't be on that list. And it shouldn't be on that list because of the simple fact that microtransactions doesn't alter the game significantly to the point that, it's like, I can beat the game in 30 minutes or something like that. I don't think any microtransactions have done that where you pick a particular item up. Like a lot of times when you get DLC, for example, like when you play a game that you get DLC armor, like Mass Effect is notorious for this. Oh, we'll give you the N7 armor. Dude, by the time you're midway through that game, you don't even have that armor. You don't even have that armor on no more. That armor is in the junkyard, scrapped, sold or broken up into pieces for something else. Like whatever it is, it's gone. So for me, I find it funny that a lot of people complain about microtransactions. Same thing with Gears of War or Forza. Listen, none of this stuff is forced on you. You don't have to buy it. It's not something you have to buy. I think people are just upset at the people who do buy it and alter the game for them, especially in multiplayer aspects. That's where people get a gripe. And I don't know if that ruins the game. It may ruin the game for that individual person, but I don't know if that actually ruins the game. So, it's crazy, man. I'm glad that the Forza guys were able to turn things around. They heard the fans. Microsoft is always listening to the fans, which is good. At least now they're listening to the fans. Hopefully they continue to listen to us. And they were able to turn it around. And, you can see what is happening with Forza and how they're trying to appease the fan base. And I think that is a plus when it comes to things like that. If Microsoft can continue to listen to the fan base when it comes to their games, I think they'll be on the right path. I think the only thing they can do going forward to make sure that they are in a great standing with their base is to always, I guess you can say, listen to their fans and pay attention to what the fans are saying, because these guys really determine whether your game is going to be successful or is going to be a failure. And the last thing you need is more failures on your hands. And I'm not saying that every game Microsoft put out was a hit, and I'm not saying everything they put out was a failure, but right now you are hot. Forza is getting high reviews. Cuphead's getting high reviews. The marketing of Shadow of War is getting high reviews. You got the Xbox One X coming out in November. Assassin's Creed sounds like it's going to be really amazing. Especially on the Xbox One X, there's some significant differences between the OG Xbox One version and the Xbox One X version. So right now, Microsoft's on a roll, man, and everybody who has the new Xbox, they seem to be very happy. And I think if you can continue to keep people happy, you have an opportunity to go into 2018 with some momentum. You already know you got a bunch of games coming out. You got a lot of marketing deals set up. A lot of indie games dropping. So, man, you got some things happening. I think if Microsoft continues to make sure that the rest of the year is successful, they don't put their foot in their mouths, they don't mess up any type of, marketing deals, anything like that, they may have themselves a nice run starting in 2018, going out through the rest of the year that can really push the Xbox One X out to the public and have people more interested than they even are now. And the console's been selling out like crazy, so that's a plus for them. So listen, man, if you're listening to the show, you can go ahead and give us a call. Let's talk about the first two topics. The number is 347-539-5860. That's 347-539-5860. If you want to call in, if anybody's out there listening right now, I don't even know if anyone is listening live, honestly, right now at this moment. But if you are, definitely go ahead and buzz in. I'll chime you in and listen to your thoughts. So, moving on. I love that chime, actually. For more, even though it's a cool game, and it's a lot of people. You want to know this game, constantly move over again. So don't have frustration that is going to hurt you anyway. It's actually the game itself that everyone's playing. It could be the way they have the game itself. It could be that they have. It's not the game that's messing up. It's you. You know what I'm saying? Like when you play Ori and the Blind Forest. When you play Ori and the Blind Forest, it's funny because when you play Ori and the Blind Forest, it's funny because when you know what I'm saying? Or you should have hit the parry button here, or you should have dashed there. So once you die, you're like, damn, let me go back. I got to do it again. And it just makes you keep going back for more. And you have fun, even though you're frustrated, even though you know you can beat this boss, you keep going back for more. And it brings me to this topic about why are we so serious? Like, why is everything so serious with games nowadays? Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite and not say that I don't think that games should be graphically impressive, because I'm all about graphics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love games that look ultra. We need more games like Cup. You know, we need more games. It's one that you feel the excitement of playing the game. You love the art, the music, everything about this classic. You know, it's something to play on any platform, which really sets it apart. And you know, you have people out there making it like it's the Dark Souls of indie games and stuff like that, and that's kind of funny in itself. But at the end of the day, man, I just like those things games difficult. It just constantly makes you want to continue with games regardless of how many times you die, and it's fun. You know, Ori wound up being a fun games, and nowadays everything's so serious. You know, Gears is serious, Halo is serious, the series, the Last of Us and God of War, and you know, Quantum Break. Everything is so serious, and I love those games without question. I think those games are mature, into a demographic and stuff like that, and I love that demographic. That's one of the reasons why I don't buy Nintendo anymore, because I'm an adult and I prefer more mature games. But getting that flip of Cuphead really has put things into perspective for me. And I think more than anything of it being fun, it's more about design of the levels in the characters is what makes it fun. Each character just seems so unique, and each character just seems like, you know, it's the right it's the right setting for this particular character, and you're really into it. Like, they did an amazing job with the background of this game. Like, they really did a great job with it. I was completely impressed with everything. I mean, I can't stress enough what these guys have done with the game. And I want more games like that. I think Microsoft should invest in more games like Cuphead. And, Anchorman and myself, we've talked extensively about the, franchise potential of Cuphead. You're seeing all types of stuff. You're seeing Cuphead plushies, Cuphead mugs, you got Cuphead posters. And he's killing me to this day because on the last episode of Tick Podcast, I actually forgot Cuphead's name, which is just, funny in itself. So, it's just one of those things, man, where I think that if Microsoft is going to try to invest in, if they're going to invest in any indie franchise, it needs to be Ori and it needs to be, I think those two indie games are really big for them right now. They're highly rated right now. And they get a lot of success. They're getting a lot of success from both the media and from gamers picking the games up. I just can't stress enough that I just think they've done a wonderful job with these two franchises, and they really need to invest in them. Like I'm seeing Ori in Rivals of Aether, which is another indie game, which is kind of like a Smash Bros. 16-bit arcade type title. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go to the I believe it's in the preview section of the Windows Store or the Xbox Store on your Xbox. Head over there and look up Rivals of Aether or Ether, something like that. And when you check it out, man, they have Ori in there as a character you can play as. And it's pretty dope because a lot of his moves is actually in the game and he's all pixelated and stuff. And I just found that really and truly amazing that they would put that in the game. And there's only a few characters. There's only like 6 characters. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for me at least right now, is not that appealing because you have a very small selection of characters to use in the game. But I mean, the potential is there. Microsoft doesn't have a Smash Bros. Type game. And you look at, obviously, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo, PlayStation All-Stars for PlayStation. If Microsoft was ever going to make the Smash Bros., now would be the time to do it. I mean, they have a ton of mascots. They have a ton of mascots from Rare. They have a ton of mascots in their library. I mean, I just can't stress enough that I think they've done a great job in securing a lot of cool mascots and a lot of cool characters that they can actually franchise. So hopefully Microsoft looks at Cuphead and not just look at it as, oh, great, another successful title and it's one and done. They can actually approve upon the game and make a sequel or, have DLC or just continue to push the game because it's a success. And it's hard nowadays in the industry to find successful games because everybody is so nitpicky over the littlest and smallest things. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of disappointing when it comes to video games and AAA development. And it kind of harps back to when I was talking about Forza and microtransactions and how a lot of people feel like AAA $60 titles don't need microtransactions. And I say this to you that the video game industry is like bigger now than the music and movie industry at this point. It costs so much to make games. And, the Voice Actors Guild, they want a fair share of pay for what they're getting paid now. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve it, but the price of that has gone up. The production has gone up. The technology constantly improves. That's gone up. Like a lot of things cost a lot of money. It's one of the reasons why you always find developers using older engines or engines that they've modified or engines that they updated because it costs a lot of money to produce new engines and create new technology. There's a lot of R&D involved in that, and publishers have to invest in that R&D in order to get the latest and newest API to start working on their games. So a lot of times you just get, 0.1s and 0.4s of the same engines you've seen last generation or engines that you've seen earlier this generation. And it costs a lot, man. So a lot of times you see games add these microtransactions because they know there's people out there that's going to buy them. And they know that a lot of that really affects the way they perceive what they're going to be doing with their next projects. And that's why microtransactions exist. Of course, we would love to see microtransactions only in free-to-play games and stuff like that. But again, if you make a AAA title and they're in there, people just trying to make an extra buck, a lot of people feel like devs shouldn't do that. But $60 is one and done. And everybody might not buy that game. So sometimes those microtransactions may make up for some of the sales that people miss when it comes to those games. And to me, that is really important when it comes to what these developers are trying to do, especially when it comes to microtransactions in games. And I hope that people understand that and not try to kill developers for trying to make money because every business needs to make money. I think as gamers, sometimes we forget these things, but overall, you got to remember that if you want to keep a company afloat, you got to make money, man. And if the game isn't making money, if people aren't buying the game and microtransactions aren't supplanting the people who didn't buy the game, then that company goes out of business. That game is turned off, servers are shut down, and it no longer exists. You know what I'm saying? And that developer is going to the wind, and everybody's now looking for new jobs. And it's unfortunate things like that has happened to like companies like the Boss Key with Lawbreakers, and it hasn't been a very successful run for Cliffy B and stuff like that. It's tough. It really is tough for developers, man. So I kind of sympathize with developers. At the same time, as a gamer, I do agree that sometimes people feel like they get ripped off. And listen, it's your prerogative to buy it or not. You don't have to. But again, man, I'm off subject. I just want more fun games. I do. I'm all for super realistic graphics for the next big Odyssey, the next big adventure, the next big RPG. But if I can have all my platformers as indie games or smaller, like Super Lucky Tale's on my list, I got to pick this game up. I'm excited for Super Lucky Tale. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it on my Xbox One X. So it's a big deal for me. But hopefully, I'll be able to do that and really enjoy the game. And hopefully the game gets a lot of good scores because I would love to see Microsoft put some platformers on the platform. I mean, if you're not going to put Banjo and Conquer and on your mascots at Rare, if you're not going to produce those new games, at least use a new mascot like the Oris and the Mugmans and the Lucky Tail to produce some new content. And hopefully that game also is a success for Microsoft and they can produce and in effect make more platformers for guys out there who love the serious hardcore stuff, but also don't mind dabbing in some of the fun, smaller indie titles. I think that would be a great mix for Microsoft going forward. So Andrew House no longer works at PlayStation. I don't know what that's about, man. I really don't. It's unfortunate. I don't know what happened if he stepped down. I heard he got promoted within Sony's organization. They got like a new CEO. Like, I don't know what happened. I think that PlayStation has been very successful. I didn't get a chance to read up on exactly what happened with this company. I just really hope that because listen, I don't hate PlayStation. I don't hate Sony at all. You know, Xbox is my preferred platform. But listen, I don't want to see anybody lose their jobs. I don't want to see anybody move out of the position they've been in unless they're retiring and moving on or moving on to something better. So, you know, listen, man, the best of luck to Andrew House in his new position or wherever he's at. I didn't read the news. I just skimmed it. I figured I'd talk about it a little bit for those out there who are listening. If you want to leave a comment in the comment section once I get the show up on YouTube, you can. I just think that I don't wish bad on anybody. Obviously, a lot of PlayStation fans may feel affected, may not feel affected by his removal or his stepping down or his promotion and moving out of the PlayStation thing. All I know is Phil Spencer's been promoted, and it seems like it's turning out to be a good thing for the Xbox fan base. And hopefully that continues to be a good thing for the Xbox fan base. And if this promotion for Andrew House is anything, hopefully it's a good promotion that affects the PlayStation fan base and PlayStation for the better. All right. So listen, man, we're coming up close to the end of the show. You're listening and really supporting me on this new platform that I'm talking from. Hopefully, when I get a chance to hear back, it is a successful show, and we can do more shows from the platform. So let's move on to our final topic for tonight. So Microsoft is trying to basically start the 4K era with the Xbox One X. You know, I had a conversation with Aaron Greenberg at E3. I had a conversation with Albert Pernello at E3, private conversations. And in those conversations, you know, the one thing that I kept hearing over and over and over again was about how, you know, Microsoft really wants to try to capture the next generation of HD the way they did with the 360. They, in their opinion, in their minds, they feel as if the HD era was a significant turning point for Xbox and the Xbox 360. And they feel like the 4K HD era is going to be a similar turning point for Microsoft once again with the Xbox One X. And I think that's why they're putting so much into this 4K aspect of games. Now, I don't know if I really care for the 4K resolution thing. For me, the biggest thing that I want out of 4K is the textures. I want games to look as clean and as realistic and as authentic as possible. When I turn on my TV and I'm looking at a game in HDR, I want stuff to look almost like when you walk past it, I want it to look almost realistic. Like just a glance, that side corner of your view, you don't even know you're looking at a screen. You think I'm watching a TV show or something like that. But no, I'm actually playing a game. That's what I want out of that. Now, clearly we aren't at ultra realistic looking character models. They are getting better, but we're not at that point yet. But Microsoft wants to really try to capture the 4K market. And they've been doing a really good job, at least so far, with the list of games that they have enhanced. And some of the things we've been hearing with some of the improvements in games, they're making a strong case for really turning the corner with the Xbox One X. Now, there was an analyst who came out and stated that they believe that the Xbox One X will sell, I think 4 to 5 million or 4 million Xbox One X's by the end of 2018. And that should be purchases out in a while to fans. And there should be 5 million PS4 Pros out by the end of 2018. And I actually think it's probably going to be more than that. I truly believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really think that analysts are underestimating the Xbox One X. I know a lot of people are like, the console is $500, Cal. Like, it's $500. You know, who's going to go out and buy it? But I keep stressing, when you go out and you buy something, especially when you buy consoles, a lot of times you're trading in your older console. Like, most people trade in their older console. It's not often that you get people actually trying to what's the word I'm looking for? It's not often that you actually get people trying to outright buy a brand new console. For the most part, when you upgrade, you trade in your old console when you upgrade. The great thing about Xbox is they've been stressing digital purchases, because now you're able to take your games with you based on your account. So you don't even have to worry about losing any saved data. You don't have to worry about, I didn't get this, all my games are on the hard drive, or those type of things. You just re-download all the games, and all your saves are already there, like you never left, which is great. And so trading in consoles, I think automatically is going to cheapen it. Automatically. Now, I pre-ordered my console on Amazon. On Amazon, they're doing a trade-in on the Xbox One S at about 130, about 133 for an Xbox One S, which right now is not bad. And that's just for the 500 gigabyte console, which is what I have. The base file, I got the Battlefield 1 edition when it came out last year, and it was 500 gigs. And I got that for like $49 or $79 or something like that at the time. And with that being said, you know, being able to trade that in, and I actually have an OG original Xbox One X. I still have that, and I would trade that in. That would cut my price literally in half. I would have about $233 in credit to put towards the Xbox One X on Amazon. That's just traders in alone. So a lot of times when people be like, "Oh, it's $500," I look at them and I'm like, "Yeah, it's $500," but I mean, you're gonna keep your original Xbox One, and you're gonna keep you're gonna keep all your Xboxes, and you're gonna buy the Xbox One Scorpio. Like, isn't that redundant? I know there's fans out there that buy multiple consoles. You put them all throughout the house. I just find it a little redundant in a way. So, for me, I'm just going to trade in my consoles, lower the price of the Xbox One X, pick it up, slap it up to my new 4K TV, which I'm trying to get the new LG. I don't know if I'll get the OLED. I've been looking at the OLED. I don't know if I'm going to pick one up, but I definitely want to pick up the new LG 4K television. Maybe I'll get something cheaper like the 6 Series or something, but man, I'm telling you, this screen, I've looked at all of the TVs, the Samsungs, the Sonys. This LG screen, when you look at the demo images, it is so crisp and clean, and the colors are so much, like, it's so authentic. I can't stress enough. Like, when I look at Samsung TVs, I see how great they look, and I'm like, damn, it looks amazing. And they do the demos of like the fish in the water and like the colorful corals. You know what I'm saying? They always use like water effects and stuff like that to show how clean things are. Or you look at Sony stuff and they do like splashes of water, or birds flying and their colors changing, vibrant colors and stuff, and it looks amazing without question. But I just happen to be looking at a scene on this LG TV of the mountains. And the mountains went from, snow to rocks to grass. And you can see the different colors of green. And that right there made an impact on me. I don't know what it was about that, but that significant part was because I can see certain parts that were just greener than others. Some were light, some were dark. Some looked neon. It was just crazy how everything was slightly different. But the screen captured all of that. It didn't just blur it into one green mess. It captured each individual part of the land. And it was just so significant to me when I watched it. I said, I gotta get this TV. And it was so clean and sharp and crisp. It just looked like I was there. I felt like I was there. It was great. And I got to get this TV. So listen, man, when that Xbox One X comes out, I'm definitely going to pick it up. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I want to get that LG for it. I'm not concerned about the price. I think if you're picking up an Xbox One X, you shouldn't be either. Microsoft's trying to bring in the 4K era with the Xbox One X. They've done a solid job so far with some of the enhanced games. I've been hearing great things from the PS4 Pro and some of the enhancements it's been getting, which gets me excited for the Xbox One X. Games like Battlefront 2, games like Witcher 3. Those are two games that I haven't played yet. And I have Battlefront beta, which I might get into tomorrow, but I haven't gotten into it just yet. On the flip side, I have Witcher 3. I've never played. I've actually been holding off all this time so I can play it on the Xbox One X. You know what I'm saying? And Digital Foundry just did a great, I guess you could say, preview or review of the game on the PS4 Pro and the enhancements it's got. Now, I'm hearing that the enhancements for the Xbox One X version is supposed to come in late December. So with that coming in late December, I'm definitely excited for the potential of what's going to be happening with the Xbox One X and Witcher 3, because I mean, my understanding is the best RPG this generation, and I got to play my RPGs. I didn't like The Witcher 2, but the more I watch Witcher 3, it seems like it's a big improvement over The Witcher 2, and it might be something I might want to get into. I don't want to say it's casual. I don't want to say that because a lot of guys obviously feel, a certain way about Witcher, and they know how hardcore the game is. But I'd be really excited to get my hands on the game and really fall in love with it and then look forward to the next one, because I did not like the second game. So hopefully I get a different feeling this time around, because I've been waiting out for that. That, Mass Effect, and Final Fantasy 15 are the 3 RPGs that I haven't really pursued truly, because I want to hold out for the Xbox One X to get the best quality I can get out of the games and the best visuals I can get out of the games, especially on that new LG TV that I plan to pick up this holiday season. So I'm really excited for it, man. Microsoft, I don't know if they'll accomplish what they want to accomplish when it comes to pushing 4K and pushing the idea of, kind of having the Xbox One X lead the 4K era of console gaming, like the Xbox 360 supposedly did with 720p games, like HD games in the HD era. And then obviously you have some games that were upscaled to 1080p. But I can tell you this. I think what Microsoft has done with their hardware has been a big improvement. I think Phil had an interview recently with Wired UK. And in his interview, he just talked about how, he really, really feels that he hopes gamers, or at least Xbox gamers, truly feel Microsoft's commitment to gaming. The last 3 years. And I want to say that I don't want to knock Microsoft in that they haven't done a good job the last 2 years. Well, actually, the last 3 years. Now, I'll say that because I wouldn't count 2017 as the last 3 years. Obviously, you're counting 14, 15, and 16, and they've done a good job. Every year, every holiday, they produce a AAA title. They produce some good third-party marketing deal games. They produce some great indie games. They produce some really good preview games, first-to-console titles, stuff like that. They've done a good job in that regard. None of their games are, I won't say they haven't been great to some people, but none of their games are games that are classics. Maybe Ori is a classic. Forza Horizon 3 is absolutely a classic. Let me not say that. But some of the big AAA titles that we've known for 360 may not feel like a classic in comparison to its predecessors, but they are they aren't by any means bad games. They are actually really good games and enjoyable titles. 2017 has been a disaster. It truly has been a disaster for Microsoft. Other than, I think, what they've shown at E3, you see their commitment in reaching out to different developers, trying to bring games like PUBG, bringing games like Conan, Exiles, trying to bring more RPGs. Like, I'm really excited to get my hands on some of the RPGs and MMOs coming out on the Xbox. They're making a big effort, and some of the indie games that they've snatched up, at least first to console anyway, look really impressive. So I'm excited for 2018. Microsoft's got some stuff on the table. My understanding is they got 3 games in development. They have some things in the plans. Fans want to know what's going on. They don't want to let people know what's happening too early, because they just don't want another Scalebound or Fable situation on their hands where they have to cancel games people have been waiting for such a long time, or people have been anticipating. So I get that. I do get that. At the same time, I feel like Microsoft needs to let us know something for 2018. We need to see the big guns in 2018. Crackdown needs to look like a great game, especially after pushing it back. It can't come out, release, and then be an okay game. This game has got to knock it out the park. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, the next time they show Crackdown, they have to show Crackdown. They can't not just show the same stuff we've seen the last 3 years, because then I think that game would be DOA. And the last thing Microsoft needs is a DOA title. But, with them transitioning to the 4K era, I think the next set of consoles coming out is going to be pushing 4K textures, 4K games. I like what they're doing with their new technology, being able to download parts of games and stuff like that. If you haven't read up on that, you can find that at ticgn.com. Make sure you check it out. And you'll be able to see what Microsoft has planned in the future and how they plan to deal with the 4K era. Because obviously, when you're talking about 4K resolution, 4K textures, games are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, a terabyte of space just doesn't cut it anymore. A terabyte of space doesn't cut it. It just really doesn't nowadays with these games. So hopefully Microsoft's plan works. People will support the Xbox One X. Their plan of never forgetting a generation continues to work and is a success for Xbox and the Microsoft brand, because again, anything that's successful for Xbox is going to affect the Xbox gamer long term. And if you're an Xbox gamer, you should be happy, because then that means you get more content, more games, and hopefully we see some new studios coming out of first party in the future. Or if we don't first party, maybe some third party exclusives that are first party IPs. I'll take that as well. But Microsoft definitely needs to put all their cards on the table in 2018, come out with a bang, and really ride the momentum that they've built at the end of this year. Because the beginning of this year was pretty much a sourpuss year for them, sort of like a wash. And now with the release of Cuphead, Forza, and now you also have Shadow of Mordor as a marketing deal. You'll see a lot of Xbox commercials with that. You got Assassin's Creed. You'll see a lot of Xbox commercials with that. And then, of course, Super Lucky Tail. You have momentum. You have momentum on your side. Hopefully they can continue to push that, and we'll see what happens in 2018. So listen, man, that's it for the show. If you're listening live, I want to thank you for stopping out. If we didn't get any callers, I'm not worried about it. It's not a big deal. This is a new show and a new format. I try to do as much advertising as I could for this format. I will be uploading this show to YouTube, and of course, this will be hitting the RSS feed for all the MP3 listeners out there, so no worries in that regard as well. You can catch this show at ticgn.com or Tick Network on YouTube. If you're listening in and you want to listen to it on YouTube, you can catch it there as well. And of course, this will be on iTunes. This will also be on Google Play and anywhere you can find any MP3s or listen to podcasts. I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. Thank you for supporting. Once again, the call-in show is something that I'm experimenting with. I'm going to try to continue to do it and try to continue to promote the show to get the guys out there that love Super Podshots to stop in, listen, join the conversation, and hopefully we can make this a regular platform that we do live shows from. So again, man, the number for the show is 347-539-5860. That's 347-539-5860. I'll be back with another episode of Super Podshots. And make sure you guys tune in next week, Friday at 11 p.m. and call into the show so we can have a conversation and talk more about what's going on with Xbox in the gaming industry. I'm your host, KLYS, the last son of Planet Xbox, and I'm off this planet. You guys have a great night. Peace.
Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my family's going to a tailgate, and I want our style to stand out from the crowd.
Just go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, Old Navy's got all the latest fall styles. Plus, during Old Navy's colossal sale, you'll save up to 50% off store-wide.
Did you say up to 50% off?
I did, so don't sit on the sidelines. Old Navy has the perfect pants from $19, stylish dresses from $15, and comfy tees for the family from just $6 right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
We're cheering for Old Navy.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10-2 to 10-10, select styles only. Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my family's going to a tailgate, and I want our style to stand out from the crowd.
Just go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, Old Navy's got all the latest fall styles. Plus, during Old Navy's colossal sale, you'll save up to 50% off store-wide.
Did you say up to 50% off?
I did, so don't sit on the sidelines. Old Navy has the perfect pants from $19, stylish dresses from $15, and comfy tees for the family from just $6 right now at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
We're cheering for Old Navy.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 10-2 to 10-10, select styles only.